Good evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Jesse Hawila, and we're going to talk about a couple of things here during this WFAA Plus weather hit. We're going to talk about a little bit of rain possible through Father's Day weekend. We're also going to talk about the mysterious red lights that folks saw across the Dallas area last night, and it has an explanation. We did some digging. I have the answer for you. Right now, though, it's 80 degrees. I'll tell you this much. Enjoy temperatures like this while you can. We are in the middle of June. You do live in North Texas, and it's 80 degrees at this time of night. That's actually not bad. The high today was I'm going to go back to that actually. The high today was 83. The normal is 91. The low this morning was 70, which is just below the normal of 72. So you get the idea. The normals are in the 90s this time of the year. If you get a couple of days in the 80s, which we've had, that's a good thing. So temperature again, 80 degrees right now. Hickory, grass, those are high, and fungus is low on the pollen count today. Satellite and radar, we see things clearing out of the area. In fact, if you looked at our tower cam there, you actually see the clear skies in the background here in Dallas. So I go back to show you the mostly sunny sky and just some high thin clouds lingering across downtown Dallas. There they are on satellite and radar. The thicker cloud cover that's been hanging around all day, and a little bit of rain still left in East Texas. That's kind of in the eastern half of the state. West of the Metroplex is where the sun peaked out for many hours today, and that's where it climbed close to 90 degrees this afternoon. Dallas-Fort Worth area, like I just showed you, stayed at 83. As we go through the rest of tonight, we'll have a few clouds in and out of the area. Overnight and early Friday morning, there's a chance for a little shower or two northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth area primarily. This would not be anything heavy or long-lasting, but really most of Friday is just spent under mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. That's 7 p.m. So we're going to have just a 10% coverage of rain Friday. On Saturday, 10% coverage. So really the trend now is for lower rain chances and fewer rain chances over the next 2 weeks, because we've had some pretty widespread shots of showers and thunderstorms over the last several weeks. It's been a very active spring here in North Texas. We are starting to tighten the faucet, if you will. We're starting to shut those chances down a bit. We all know this time of the year, eventually they just stop completely, and that seems like it's on the way. Let me show you. This is 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday. As we go through Father's Day weekend, we'll have the chance for a shower or two across the area, but most of us will stay dry. This is 7 p.m. Saturday. I'll be watching a complex of thunderstorms exit Oklahoma, cross the Red River sometime Saturday night. It's likely just going to be in a weakening phase, so whatever does cross into North Texas, likely nothing more than a shower or thunderstorm and maybe a little bit of gusty wind as it moves through. So there's 11 p.m. Saturday. You can see the showers and storms right there along the Red River, and some of those could have some gusty winds with them. There's Paris at 11 p.m., Clarksville at 11 p.m. Notice most of North Texas still dry, so we're not expecting the showers and storms to be widespread, but wherever that complex tracks Saturday night, it could bring a little bit of rain before completely dissipating late overnight Saturday into Sunday. Father's Day Sunday, we start with a little bit of cloud cover, but most of the day, completely fine. Just a really low rain chance by the afternoon and evening. 92 degrees will be the high. Winds are out of the south 5 to 15. It'll be a humid day too. So if you have any outdoor plans with Dad for Father's Day, just know that while it is going to be on the warm side, it is going to be humid too. So I do expect heat index values pretty close to 100 degrees as we head into Father's Day Sunday. So it is that time of the year too where we start to crank up the heat. The thing is, we've had such a wet spring. There's a lot of water still sitting around, a lot of moisture available, so that's going to evaporate. That's going to increase the dew point temperature. That's going to increase the humidity that you feel across the area. But as I said, rain chances are kind of diminishing as we go through the next week or two. So as we take a look at the rain chances Friday, 10% coverage of rain Friday, Saturday 10, Sunday 10, Monday and Tuesday. We'll get it down to 0. So we're going to have a dry Monday and Tuesday. Most of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be dry too. But as we look at Monday and Tuesday, those look dry. And with the diminishing rain chances come increasing temperatures. You look at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, really close to the normal. The normal's 91, then 92 on Saturday. We'll be there for Father's Day. 93 on Monday, 95 on Tuesday rather, that's 3 degrees warmer than the normal of 92. So tonight we'll just have a dry night. It's going to be muggy tonight with partly cloudy skies, 71 degrees and south winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow 90, isolated shower or storm would be possible. Otherwise just partly sunny, warm and humid, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. The 14-day forecast You see, again, diminishing rain chances. What I do suspect here as we go through the next 7 days, what we call a ridge will start to build in, and the ridge is what shuts down the rain chance. So it's building through the weekend. We'll keep at least a rain chance. It's pretty solid Monday and Tuesday, which is what increases the heat. Then by Wednesday, it starts to break down a little bit. Then by Juneteenth, we'll have a little bit of what we call troughing in the area. So instead of 95, maybe it's down to 89 to 91. But we do at least have a chance for a shower or thunderstorm Wednesday and Thursday. Beyond that, low chance of rain Friday, June 20th. Oh yeah, summer. 90 Saturday, 92 Sunday. Then you look beyond that, temperatures stay in the middle 90s overall. So you get the idea. We start to lower the rain chances, raise the heat. Humidity is going to be high too across North Texas. I want to show you this before we go. I want to show you this radar here, loop of Texas. We had a lot of very heavy rain in the San Antonio area. And you take a look at some of the video there of the flooding with cars overturned, cars swept from the roads. Unfortunately, 5 people have died in this flood. 2 people injured, and we know people are still being searched for after floodwaters in the San Antonio area. You can actually see people from escaping their vehicles and other areas, climbing trees, being rescued here by first responders. So, really dangerous situation. A reminder to folks, especially here in Texas, while we think of the very dramatic things that we see like tornadoes and big hail as the most damaging and deadly, it's actually heat and floods. For Texas, heat and flooding, those are the #1 weather-related killers in our state. And like I said, unfortunately, 5 people did die from the flooding in San Antonio. For more on that and the cleanup efforts, take a look.
I'm at the Vicar Road Bridge over Bidle Creek, or maybe if you take a look at this bridge, you should say what remains of the bridge, because it is a hot mess. What happened here is just an example of the power of the water. It is more evident here than almost any place in San Antonio. The bridge is ripped apart because giant chunks of concrete from the drainage channel above failed. They fell off the walls, they slammed into the bridge. And then in addition to the damage here, which they haven't even had time to evaluate because they're going to have to remove a ton or more of debris to get to the bridge to evaluate it. And then if you look farther downstream, you will see more evidence of the human toll that this flood has had. There are 2 small sedans that are ripped and crumbled that ended up downstream. Earlier we saw relatives of the car owners down there climbing down the embankments and looking into the cars to see what they could find. Now, one important thing to remember is that the rain has continued to fall here in San Antonio. And so as long as we're getting precip, as long as the water levels stay where they're at, nothing is going to recede. They're not even going to be able to do a lot of this search or recovery effort until the water continues to recede just a little bit. So we'll stay with it. And we also need to tell everybody that's downstream, this water is going somewhere. It's going south. So everybody who lives south of here needs to be careful and watch the warnings, even if the rain isn't falling from the sky at the time. From San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, back to you.
San Antonio sits in a part of Texas that is often called Flash Flood Alley. It is one of the most flood-prone regions in the country. There are 3 main factors making that the case. The first is the Balcones Escarpment. It's a geologic fault zone extending in an arc across Texas just northwest of San Antonio, including Austin and the I-35 corridor. Warm, moist air gets trapped just to the east of it, producing heavy rainfall events. Steep terrain, shallow soils, and narrow river channels send runoff quickly downhill. The result? Fast and erosive floodwaters that can affect communities downstream, particularly around Bexar County. The town of Wimberley is also located just east of the escarpment. In 2015, the Blanco River rose to a record 40 feet, destroying 350 homes and taking 13 lives. UTSA researchers found that development in the area also contributed to the disaster. That is also known as urbanization and is the second flash flood factor. Rapid development of the area east of the escarpment has replaced nature with man-made roads and buildings. When there are storms, there's nowhere for the water to go, and it slides off concrete structures with fewer plants and soil to absorb that water. The final factor is our long-term drought. Even with recent rains, prolonged dry periods force the soil to repel water, and when that rain falls, it tends to flow over the surface instead of going through it, so the ground can't soak it in. In the future, climate change will likely make conditions worse, with extreme heat leading to more extreme rain events as warmer air can hold more moisture. I'm Jeremy Baker for KENS 5.
You know, talking about where that escarpment is, if you actually look here where that heaviest rain fell over the last 24 hours, it's kind of lined up there. And in fact, I'll zoom into the San Antonio area. We were talking, he was talking about the urbanization of the area. You have lots of non-pervious surfaces there. Really all of the metropolitan areas in Texas, but here in San Antonio, you see the very heavy rain that just sat there for hours and hours and dumped several inches of rain in a very short period of time there across San Antonio and Bexar County. That's the problem here with Texas in particular, is when you have dew points as high as they have been and the humidity as high as it has been, the rainfall rates are extraordinary. You can have rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour in some of these thunderstorms. That's easy for Texas this time of the year, and that's really what we're seeing here in the San Antonio area. So again, that's the last 24 hours, just kind of a really bad situation setting up there in San Antonio. That's where the heaviest rain fell. More of that. The thing is, with Texas and drought, it's only replaced by a flood. That's how it works here in Texas. You get periods of drought, you get periods of flooding. There's never really a good middle ground. So really an unfortunate situation there in San Antonio as we kind of watch the rain finally at least take a break here in San Antonio. Now, I want to go back into what we were talking about at the top of this hit, which is something completely different, which is the red lights that have been, what is that, right? Red lights have been displayed across Dallas. People were sending us tweets, they were sending us emails. People were wondering what is going on. Now, a lot of people said it was the northern lights, but there's a couple of things going against that. Let's talk about this. We solved the mystery here, the red light mystery in Dallas. This one was sent in from Mark. You can see the red lights there in the sky just behind those houses there. Then you also see from a different perspective the same red lights. This is actually taken in the lower Greenville area. So we did some digging today. We talked to both Mark and Claire about their pictures, and I asked them a couple of questions. The first thing we want to talk about is, why does it look this way? So was it the northern lights? Well, there's a reason. There's a couple of reasons it wasn't. Number one, there was no geomagnetic storm at the time. Number two is it was overcast. So the thing is, with the clouds around, you're not going to see any northern lights if there were any. The third thing is, this picture here is facing south, so you're not going to get the northern lights. But what we did notice here is the sky obviously cloudy, which it has been, and last night there were lots of low clouds too. The light is reflecting off the bottoms of the cloud, so that leads us, that led us to believe that obviously the light is coming from something at the surface. It's not something in the cosmos. It's something at the surface. So again, this picture was facing south from near North Park Center. This picture was facing north from Lower Greenville. So when we plot that on a map, as we zoom into the Dallas area, so North Park Center is right there. So again, that picture was taken facing this way. The other one from Lower Greenville from this way facing north. So we say, well, what's here in the middle? There's a lot of stuff in the middle, but the most obvious thing would be SMU right here. So I called SMU earlier today to see, was there anything going on last night in and around the campus that might have been emitting a very bright red light, and in fact there was. So the mystery was solved. SMU was actually doing video board testing at the stadium there. So the football stadium had all the lights on, the big video board was red, and the stadium was red like this picture here. You could see this was not taken last night, but the public relations folks there did send us this picture and say the lights were just like this last night. So essentially what we were seeing, just SMU, that's all. That's the mystery solved there in Dallas. So again, as we take a look, one last look at radar and satellite here across Texas, things are clearing out tonight. We'll have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. Small chances of rain as we go through Father's Day weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you back again tomorrow night.